The following video has been created without the use of AI. Please support your human content creators by liking the video and commenting something down below. Subscribing is optional. Now please, enjoy the show. Doey walked down the somewhat pristine halls of the factory's upper levels. Catnap had been quiet these past weeks, and the doorman took the opportunity to scavenge the offices. Safe Haven needed supplies, desperately. Supplies that couldn't be found in the prison and laboratories. His hand placed on the white wall stained with dried blood. As gruesome as this was, there were no cracks, no smell of mold, just the faint aroma of dead bodies. It was almost too good. But he knew how dangerous the upper floors were. There were a group of toys that reigned supreme, loyal to the prototype to a fault. Huggy Wuggy, Mummy Longlegs, PJ Pugapilla, Bunzo Bunny, multiple of them as a matter of fact, and an army of mini-Huggies. And of course Catnap and the feral critters he commanded. No, this place was an alluring death trap. As much as he wanted to set up shop here, this place made anyone a sitting duck, and only the most hardened of toys survived. Relocating Safe Haven up here, therefore, would be not only really hard thanks to Catnap, but also his friends wouldn't survive it for very long. He sighed as he turned towards the exit of the long hallway he had found himself in. The only sound, aside from his own movements, he could hear was the settling building and the dripping of leaking pipes nearby. As eerie as the liminality of it all was, there was comfort in it. Silence meant no ferals, as they couldn't help but make noises all the time. He pushed open the metal door at the end of the hall, only to be met with severe whiplash. He found himself in a surprisingly pristine office room. It was huge, with cubicles and electricity. Not even the smell of blood was here. This was suspicious. His footsteps slowed, and that's when, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a little contraption made from springs and scrap metal, wood and nails. With a sad expression, he pushed down on the thing's mechanism, expecting it to not even function. But to his surprise, it actually snapped, severing his dough hand. "Oh dear," he muttered, impressed, as he looked at the crude do-it-yourself bear trap. And that's when he started noticing more things. There were tripwires, and quite bumpy-looking, suspicious wrinkles that beneath were hiding nail boards under the carpeted floor. This entire place was figuratively rigged to explode. He grinned with delight. His body, true to its makeup, was perfect to go through here without activating any of these. So meticulous was the setup, he would have felt bad to cause any ruckus. This work needed to be preserved. This was practically art. And so he snuck around the office, climbing or more slithering his dough-like body over cubicles, stepping carefully over tripwires and making absolutely sure not to trigger a single additional bear trap, out of respect to the trap maker. And he was curious what toys set this up. Or perhaps people? Nah. There was no chance a human was left. Reaching the end of the office room, he pressed his face into the keyhole of a door, just to make sure there was nothing on the other side. And from what little he saw, he could open it freely. But just as his hand pressed onto the handle, he heard something. It wasn't from behind him, but from the other side of the door. Someone was there. Any of the upper floor's toys could be it. Considering the ingenuity, however, it probably wasn't Mummy Longlegs. And considering the ingenuity of the traps, there was a high likelihood it was gonna be Mummy Longlegs, but he could take her. He had fought her before. Quietly, he pressed down the door's lever and opened it just a teeny tiny bit to get a better look inside. Finding an employee lounge, beige walls, dried plants which had their leaves chewed off, and a kitchen aisle. The floor was tiled, clean but forebodingly so, smelling of bleach. In the middle stood the dining table, on top of which something light. That would be horrifying if it wasn't a regular sight in the factory. A completely torn open Bunzo bunny, his organs removed, being butchered, his dead face staring right at Doey. Behind the table, standing at the kitchen aisle oven, stood a toy, white like a ghost, dressed in a white, flowy dress. Her white, long, fluffy hair was blood-stained, but no grime was on her. She must have lived here for a long time without going deeper into the factory, if she was this clean. The smell of cooked flesh floated around the room. Doey could feel drool building up in his mouth. The doorman had taken the step to eat the meat of other toys long ago. To justify it, he never referred to anyone he ate as a former human, because if he did, he'd probably lose his mind. The toy's delicate-looking white hand reached for a cleaver, slamming it down on a wooden plank that she used as a cutting board. Doey shoved himself a little further back to make the crack smaller, while still being able to see the toy preparing the meal. She turned around, revealing a noseless white face with big red eyes made from glass. One was cracked, the right one. Black stains were running down her eyes like dried bloody tears. Her mouth had no lips and was faint red stains around it. And two strawberry-looking ornaments were attached to her side of her head, making her look like hair clips, but considering he looked at a toy, those were definitely secured into her skull, most likely. She was actually kinda adorable, if it wasn't for the simple fact that she was cooking up a former human. Her eye met his face. "You can come in," he finally said. Doey's eyes widened in shock. "I heard the bear trap go off. I thought I was going to die already." Your voice was clear but at a deadpan, as if all positive emotions had been sucked out of you. Your functioning eye moved up to meet his from the crack, and as Doey opened the door, the faintest hint of a smile appeared on your face. "Anyone who treats my place with respect must not be thorough. Be able to talk like Mommy." Your gaze slowly drifted off. "She likes my food." With the butcher knife in your hand, you pointed at the table with the corpse on it. "Sit." It was here where Jack, the more timid of Doey's made-up selves, stirred. The command, "Sit," made him immediately want to follow the order. It reminded him of home. And so Doey quietly pulled back one of the chairs at the table, sitting down, twiddling his thumbs in his lap. Turning back to your pot, you continued chopping. You wanted tiny meat cubes, as your mouth wasn't that good at opening pretty wide. In fact, the original plan for you by the doctors had been to only feed you pureed stuff. "So, who are you? I never saw your toy before." He finally spoke up. You looked up, Not at him, but at the wall in front of you, holding the blood-covered cleaver to see your reflection. Creamy, apparently, you muttered loud enough for him to hear, before slamming the knife back down. Creamy, I see. I'm Doey, you interrupted. I've seen your cutouts. Right. I guess my toy is pretty popular. The Creamy toy line was in its prototype stages when the hour of joy happened. It didn't reach manufacturing stage just yet. There wasn't a single cutout of you made as well. The Creamy toy line was meant to be cake-themed girl dolls as well as boy-themed candy action figures. Characters included General Gingerbread for the boys and Princess Strawberry Shortcake for the girls. Specifically, you were meant to be the main character of the toys' tasty, sweet storyline. Creamy, the ice cream doll. Originally, you had black confetti stuck in your hair to mimic chocolate sprinkles, but they had fallen off during the years of neglect and starvation in the factory. Only a single TV pilot existed that hadn't ever aired yet. Playtime Co. however absolutely loved the idea of a toy line both boys and girls could enjoy, with more clear identities and themes rather than just a random plush monster. So, Doey asked as you shoved the meat cubes into the cooking pot. It was just collected water from pipes with a bit of salt that was still in the kitchen. Tell me about yourself. Your head twisted to look at him. I clean. I tidied up. I need to do things to stay sane. Considering your speech pattern, that sanity of yours seemed to be on the brink. I'm not loyal to the prototype. Your mouth twitched, subtly, as you mentioned the machine. But I know how to pretend that I am. Your thoughts drifted off. Well, Creamy, would you like to join me then? Safe Haven is always looking for... You threw the knife at him. Your throwing arm was shaking. No others. No safe haven. There is no safe place. You tilted your head. Not even here. You being here. My traps aren't enough. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you for not... Thank you. You blinked. Thank you for not breaking any. Perhaps leaving you alone was the best option, but he watched you rub over your broken right eye. I want to be, need to be, alone. He didn't leave me alone. You pointed at Bunzo's lifeless corpse. I eat what bothers me. People bother me. Doey looked down at the butcher knife stuck in his dull chest. It didn't hurt, but of course, it did scare him a little. Looks like he bothered you, huh? Quietly, he pulled the knife out and placed it on the table. Everyone wants to eat me. Even Mommy. She wants to eat me for tea, but if she does, I won't cook anymore. She calls me her last supper if she has to. Doey exhaled and quietly stood up. Creamy? He asked as he approached you. I promise I won't eat you. Blankly you stared at him. Right. Saying that while approaching me doesn't look good, I know. He chuckled. I think you need a hug. Hug? Now you got annoyed. You've looked
looked outside, haven't you?
Yes, you kept the place nice and tidy. That comment caused you to throw another knife, which you removed with a sigh, it too being placed on the table moments later while he was shaking his head. See, our goal is to get rid of the prototype
and what? He blinked. Go have a 9 to 5 after experiencing 10 years of trauma while stuck in the body of a toy eating flesh that used to be human at some point. You pointed at him, and you. You slammed a hand on his chest, squishy, to demonstrate his doughy body. But what happened next, you didn't see coming. With a stone-cold expression, Doey grabbed your wrist, twisted you around, painfully, forcing your hand on your back, and then, defenseless you were, he hugged you from behind. For a moment all you did was breathe as you felt his warm body. And when you didn't resist, his hug got ever so slightly tighter. You could still breathe. In fact, you could smell the chemicals of his dough on your tongue. You lowered your gaze. I know a lot of toys who fought like you, but... Doey, I cannot come back from this. All we can do is make it livable in this hell. This is hell. He smiled.
And you did a very good job with that, Creamy.
You raised your head. Really?
Yes, of course. This place is beautiful. He glanced at the dead bonzo. Well, most of it at least. I mean, there's some places that need improvement.
We must stay sane at all cost.
And I can see you're holding on by a thread.
Your hands turned to fists. You took a step forward. Thankfully, he gave you no resistance. Without saying a word, you sat down on the lounger sofa. It's also where you slept, even though in your toy body you were a little too tall for it. Doey felt awkward, and so he quietly just stirred your pot for a minute. You didn't thank him, even though you knew you should.
You know, Creamy, some toys would call this place heaven.
You looked at him. He had a tiny spoon in his hand and was tasting the broth. Yeah, that definitely was the taste of human flesh. Seems like even adding salt couldn't get the taste of guilt out.
It's clean, nothing's broken, traps for safety.
He then pointed down at the pot.
And good food. As good as it gets.
I only survived because I'm alone.
I get that. Less mouths to feed.
He lowered the flame of the cooker so it wouldn't burn. Doey turned to you, looking you up and down.
So, I have a question.
Your functioning eyes stared at him without blinking.
So this is what it looks like, huh? Wanting to go feral but being unable to?
Saying that was a mistake. He knew that, but he wanted to see what would happen if he did. And as you angrily charged him, he let himself be thrown on the floor, you straddling his round tummy. How dare you! You shouted in his face. Do you not understand what I have to, what have I done, what all of us have done?
So stop eating then. Lie down. Our bodies barely waste any energy. And when we're truly human, they just call it lying down. I'm sure you heard of it. A lot of toys are doing it. have been doing it. Nobody really knows if that toy lying over there, figuratively speaking, of course, is alive or dead. Because they're just that good at sleeping. He didn't add, well, until they're eaten, of course. Because he wanted to see what would happen if he made you really angry. Come into my place, insult me to my face, and then tell me to do an existence worse than death. Your heart was pounding in a way it hasn't done in years. Yeah, I guess. He scoffed. He knew you could handle it, and he knew you needed this. I mean, look at you. Shaking, you looked at your hands. You're holding on by a thread. But you're managing. You haven't lied down. You haven't gone feral. You set up meticulous traps, cleaned up an office, created a space of almost normalcy. You haven't gone numb, even though you think you have. Please come help us. Help you, us, who's us? He leaned up, placing a hand on your shoulder. Us is us. You, me, safe haven. Join us. Let's get rid of the prototype. Let's get out of here. Show the world what happened here. I'm sure we will get the help we need. You grabbed his arm with both hands, slowly, deliberately, and gently placed it on your cheek. Happily, he tilted his head, rubbing a thumb over your white, plastic skin. His thumb was warm and soft, the texture oddly comforting in a way only he could be. It lingered, slow, deliberate, like he was memorizing the shape of you with each pass. His other hand came to rest behind your back, not pulling you closer, at least not yet. But it was there, quite grounding, solid. You were still straddling him, legs on either side of his doughy form, squeezing, and you became acutely aware of the rise and fall of his chest beneath you. The silence between the two of you started out cold, but now it was full, stretched, taut, with something that was unspoken. It was fragile, but sweet. A delicate matter, yes, but you weren't sure where this came from. Your own hands found his sides, hesitating at first, then firmer, pressing down as if to make sure he wouldn't disappear. You looked down at him, and the edges of his soft features seemed calmer now, almost invitingly so. Doey wasn't smiling, not quite, but his mouth was open. That heavy knot in your chest, the one that had twisted you, as he insulted you. No, that knot had been there for a long time, and it loosened. It didn't fall away entirely, but it shifted, reshaped. It had gone quiet. You leaned forward instinctively, your forehead brushing over his. He smelled different now. Like flour and rain, less like chemicals. Strange. It was familiar. Kinda like your skin after the doctors turned you into this. His arms moved slowly, wrapping around your back, pulling you into him. Not forcefully, just enough to feel held, safe. You breathed out and let your weight settle against him, chest to chest. Your hands now resting over his heart, or at least where it should be, if he was biologically more human. And now, you didn't want to move, as if any tiny readjustment would ruin the mood. Your breath mingled with his, warm and shallow, as you hovered just above his mouth. His arms held you steady, not pulling, just there, present. You weren't thinking clearly anymore. Well, perhaps you never were. It was all sensations now. The way his form shifted subtly under your weight, the strange softness of him, that way everything felt warm and charged without any clear reason. You leaned in and kissed him. It was tentative at first, testing, feeling. Two lipless mouths met, warm, his pliable, yours soft. You pressed a little more firmly, curious, chasing that sensation, and he met you halfway. As your kiss deepened, your tongues touched, but not in a practiced way. It was clumsy, a little unsure, like neither of you knew exactly what you were doing, but neither of you didn't care anymore. You tasted him. There was something just beneath the surface, faint but there. A chemical tang, not sharp, but gross. No, it wasn't gross, just odd. Almost like plastic. That was left out of the sun for too long. Synthetic. A reminder. He was like you. A toy. Your fingers twitched slightly, where they rested on his sides, sinking into the soft dough of him. It wasn't normal. None of this was. But it felt good. And right now, that was enough. You let yourself stay there, exploring the inside of his mouth, the feel of his shape beneath your hands. You didn't need to name the feelings you had yet. You just knew you wanted more of them. Exhaling out of your mouth, you pulled your arms out of your dress, pushing it down to your navel to reveal your Barbie anatomy to him, though it ended just around your groin, so technically you could use your body for this. It's embarrassing, you admitted, but I want. You didn't need to say anything more. With an almost smug smile, he placed his hands on your chest, squeezing, making you moan, before he finally took control of the situation. Or perhaps he had all along. He grabbed you by the butt and lifted you up. Your lips locked again as he carried you to the sofa. This wasn't going to end until you were a heaving, sweating mess. This wasn't going to end until tomorrow.
Good job for reaching this point in the video. Typing cucumber water in the comments below to show everyone that you did. Anyways, we reached also the ending of the video, and I would like to shout out all of my lovely channel members, specifically my darling stewards. We have Mimi Momo, Jaws, Melofia, Maxicat, Allison Watkins, Mystic Jade 111, Giovanna Moretti, Twilight Mia, Angry Boxman, Hella, Anonymous Weep, and Nicodemus D. Without you, I could not do this. And without my other channel members, I could not do this either. Your support is greatly appreciated. And please remember to like and subscribe. That would really help me out, as that also tells the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed the video, and it would lead to my video being more advertised. So please do that. Thank you.